Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. And if this is your first time here, hello, welcome. This is Essential Patience and I am Patience. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about something that is becoming very popular. It's already popular, but it is becoming even more widespread in usage among consumers that we really need to discuss and analyze. Is it a good thing to buy now and pay later? Well, we'll get into it, but before we do, remember to like this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and let's get straight into it. This is a video about buying now and paying later. So if you see me looking down, I'm looking at my notes because I like to prep for videos and I like to be able to hit some points and give you good definitions for these. So let's get straight into it. So buy now, pay later is a payment option that I'm pretty sure a lot of you see online, maybe in restaurants in different places all over now. It is a payment option that allows consumers to make purchases and defer payment for a later date. It is a form of installment financing that has gained popularity in recent years, particularly in e-commerce and retail settings. I'm pretty sure that's something you've seen when maybe you're going to check out a cart and it says pay in 4 interest-free installments or something like that, or maybe even 6, sometimes 2. But the whole point is that you don't have to pay all of it now because we care for your financial situation. Instead, pay later. And it might seem like a good idea, but remember, this is a form of credit. This is financing, and a lot of people do it on everything. And that's where it becomes especially dangerous. You're financing clothes, shoes, furniture, financing food. At the end of the day, you finance up to your ear. Like, it's crazy what you can finance in 4 interest-free installments. But why is it even an option? Because sometimes it could be like, oh, they just want to make it easy and they want to make it more accessible to people. Come on, don't fall for it. We live in a capitalistic society. It is because research has shown that when you offer these paying in installments, people spend more. How much more you're talking? Over 40% more. So think about it if you're a business owner and you can upsell people 40% more just by having them defer the payments into smaller payments. Well, that sounds good. It's the exact same thing as like credit cards. If we didn't have credit cards, most people only buy what they can afford, and most people who have credit card debt will probably not be in the amount of debt that they have. They might still be in debt because it's behavioral, but it just might not be as much. But now you just don't have a credit card. You can finance everything. So you're not just paying later on your credit cards, you're paying later on everything else that you buy. Just more ways for us to finance our entire lives. Amazing, right? Obviously being sarcastic on there. So here's how it works. First is the purchase, right? So when you're making a purchase at an online retailer or maybe an in-person retailer, a customer can choose to buy now, pay later option at checkout. The option is often provided by a third-party provider specializing in buy now, pay later services. So this is a third party, which tells you there is money to be made here, because if it wasn't, there wouldn't be a whole other department specializing in it. So second, of course, is to schedule the payments. Instead of paying the full amount of what you can buy, because you should be buying what you can afford, instead you can schedule it at the time when you're about to make the purchase. So the customer can split the purchases into different installments and schedule it to pay maybe weekly, bi-weekly over this amount of time till the entire amount is paid for. The fourth one, of course, is the interest or fees, because sometimes it's not free. It might be interest free, but there might be a fee to schedule it. So not only are you buying a lot of things that you obviously can't afford, but instead now you need to finance it, and that financing is not free. Even if it's interest-free payments, you might still have to and probably will have to pay fees to finance it. And a lot of them would either charge fees or interest or both. So don't be fooled. Look at your agreements. And the last step is to be approved. Now, they say they do a credit check, a quick credit check. But you know what? I don't see many people getting denied for buy now, payday later type of loans. You know what I'm saying? It just seems like they're approving everybody. Maybe you know something that I don't, but they're very much more lenient compared to traditional forms of loans like banks, you know, other credit unions. Like, they are more lenient. And why are they more lenient? Probably because they want you to do it and they can see the benefits of you buying now and paying later, because other institutions have a direct interest. Now, not all of them, but a lot of them want to at least make sure that you can pay and that, you know, your lifestyle and everything can fit in. But this one, yeah, pay later, but there are risks. Like everything, there are risks and there are drawbacks. Now, if you don't know, I'm not a fan of this. If you've not been getting it all throughout this video, just know that I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan, and there are dangers here. But let's get into it, because I made a list and I'm like, okay, I need to at least hit some targeted points so people can understand. Because some people may not even see it as a big deal. It's like, well, maybe I just want to split my $100 bill into $25 a month. I'm like comfortable with that. That may be true, but for a lot of people, if you're buying something that you can afford, you may rethink it. But let's get into the danger. So of course, the first one is accumulated fees and interest. Now, this is not about when you're financing it, right? And you agree to pay a certain amount of interest or just a fee to finance it. We're talking about what happens if you don't pay, because you're already buying stuff that you can afford. And if you're financing everything, all the payments are still gonna come in. So at one point or another, who knows, maybe you're not being able to pay that $25 for this week. What happens? Well, you can get charged extra interest or additional fees, which are late fees, because you didn't make your payments. There are dangers to this, because if you don't have that money to pay back, you will have to face the consequences for that. And that is not going to be very much fun. Number two, of course, is the overspending. Like I said before, when people are using buy now, pay later, they're buying more than they can afford or how much they actually intend to buy. So if you had to pay for it right now, right here, you probably wouldn't buy as much as you would if you have the option of just paying in different and later installments. So with buy now, pay later, a lot of people are overspending and not face the consequences right away. So in short term, it's like, oh, I'm just paying this short amount. So it's almost like you game the system. When you look for it later, you would realize that no, it gains you, because you're still gonna have to pay because you overbought, you overspent on things that you probably didn't even need. So that is something that occurs with buy now, pay later. Number three is the impact on your credit score. Now, credit scores are not everything. Believe me, I really think that not everybody needs a credit score, but if you do have financial goals, which a lot of us do, whether it is to buy a house someday, maybe you want to start a business that you may need a loan for, good credit score can get you better interest rates in the future. And if you are delinquent on your buy now, pay later loans, which some people are, and actually delinquency is increasing. You will think that if people split up, they can pay better, but that's not always true. If you fail to pay, they can take it to collection. And once it gets to collections and you still don't pay it, it takes up to 7 years for it to fall off your credit. And if you're a young person and you still want to move on from it, it's going to be there and it's going to show on your credit score that you just didn't pay and you were being delinquent. You're going to have negative marks on there because of that. So number four, of course, the dangers is the impact for impulse buying. Because if you're buying and you're thinking, oh, I'm just gonna pay a little bit now and then I'm gonna pay the rest later because this is all I can afford right now, but I can afford the whole thing. Instead of thinking, well, maybe I shouldn't buy it, you can think, oh, no, I can just buy it now and pay it later, right? So the convenience of buy now, pay later, particularly when integrated into online shopping forums, can encourage impulse buying. Consumers may be inclined to make impulsive purchases without fully considering their budget, which some people don't even have a budget, which is another topic altogether, or the long-term financial consequences. So we all know that buy now, pay later is something that can lead to impulsive buying, because you're thinking, okay, I'm just gonna pay a little right now and then much more in the future. Number five is the limited financial visibility. So using buy now, pay later sometimes makes it more challenging to keep up with payments that are spread out across different days. It makes it hard to manage your cash flow and effectively budget other expenses, because here you are buy now, pay later at the end of like 5, 10, 15, 20. So if you're buy now, pay later on everything, then you're like, How are you keeping track of these things? Now, it is possible if you use a spreadsheet or something, but it's so difficult to keep track on everything and making sure you have enough money to pay this one and that one. And this one is due on a Friday, and this one is due next Wednesday, and this one is due next Saturday. It's so much to keep up on that I just think that the strain and everything going on, it just might not even be worth it. Number 6 is the dependency on debt. If you get into this mindset that you can just buy things now and pay later, it allows you to live in debt. Instead of just buying things that you can afford, you're relying on debt to pay for everything right now and everything right now and everything. And that can go but so far, because at the end of the day, it may not seem like debt. A lot of people don't do buy now, pay later and consider it as debt, but that's exactly what it is. It's a loan, a short-term loan that a lot of us should not just have in our life, because you're relying on debt on so many things and you're impulsively shopping and buying things that it's not moving the needle forward when you're going towards your financial stability and financial freedom dreams. As any financial decision, it is important for consumers to carefully assess their own financial situation, read the terms and conditions of the buy now, pay later contracts, and ensure that they can comfortably manage the payments before opting for a buy now, pay later option. And this is something that I think a lot of us is just getting comfortable in. A lot of people don't read these terms and services. And I think that the best thing is to stay away from these buy now, pay later debts altogether. I think it is important to make a budget and have several videos on budgeting, cutting out a lot of things, and just living a life where we don't have to rely fully on debt. Now, again, there are always some good debts. I have several videos where I talk about some debts like mortgages that are completely fine up to certain points. But at the end of the day, you should not be so immersed in debt, credit card debt, auto loan debt, mortgages, student loan debt, personal loan debt, and now add buy now, pay later debts. It's exhausting. So make sure that you find different ways to make a budget, stick within your budget, and have an emergency fund so that whatever comes your way, you'll be able to tackle it. But thank you for watching, you guys, because I'm bringing this video to an end now. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And let me know in the comment section, do you do buy now, pay laters? And after this video, would you continue to do buy now, pay laters? Or what's your idea of, or your thoughts on it altogether if you've never used it? But with saying that, remember to ring the notification bell, because I post 2 videos a week on Tuesdays and on Fridays. Come on over, because we talk about these topics, many more. Sometimes we're learning to do stuff, sometimes we're just analyzing stuff, and overall we just have fun here. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.